The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
It's time to get your business in gear. Do you feel that sometimes you're in the right industry, but you're not attracting the right clients? Well, let's figure it out intimately with Tammeron is a 1-hour show presenting you with simple and basic tips to help you create a more intimate, fulfilling business and personal life. Now, here's your host, Tammeron.
Welcome to this fun-filled interactive hour with me, Tammeron. I've created this show to provide you, my listeners, with some of the top experts in the world who can help us all create more fun, passion, and intimacy back in our personal and professional lives. And after being an entrepreneur since I was 26 years old, raising my 2 kids, volunteering in my community, and privately educating myself through online courses, books, and self-development seminars, I realized that I have a huge range of knowledge to share with you. And as a motivational business speaker, my passion is to share my intimate stories, and it allows me to work authentically with other people in their business. I also realize that I attract people just like me who are a divine mirror of my own life. Entrepreneurs who are trying to find that healthy balance in their life. People who are visionaries, passionate, and highly sexual in nature. There are ups and downs to having all this beautiful energy that swirls all around us. And we tend to be very creative, and we have a million ideas whipping around in our heads, and we love challenges. We want to work with other like-minded people and be successful. But sometimes there are issues that come up. Things like we attract many people who want to work with us or just hang with us. And how do we manage ourselves and our time effectively? How do we represent ourselves in business to show our true brand? How do we work effectively with other entrepreneurs to create affiliates, joint ventures, or even equal partnerships? This seems to be a huge trend right now. And join me as I interview other guests, offer live business coaching, and give you an opportunity to hear what coaching is all about in business. Many entrepreneurs believe that their business is different than someone else's, and I agree with this statement. Yet I want everyone to understand that the reason why you are successful or not in your business is because of how you think and feel about yourself. Your business as an entrepreneur is about whom you believe yourself to be. And using this as the core of your business, I can teach and help anyone how to make their business better. If you'd like to call in or ask questions, the number is always toll-free at 1-888-346-9141. You can also email me at tammeron@figureitoutlive.com or hit the email host button here on my homepage on voiceamerica.com. So for now, sit back and enjoy as we all learn how to become more intimate in your business, to understand what is really going on and how this is affecting every aspect of your life. And this includes your personal relationships that can even become better as well. What a great way to live. So today I have no guest. It's just me. And I'm going to talk about how do we deal with confrontation in business. This seems to be a huge topic swirling around me. Like I said, I love to talk about things that are actually genuinely happening in our group meetings here, or some of the consultations that I'm offering. And also, what are some of the small stories that I'm going to share as well? Because as an entrepreneur myself, sometimes things happen, and like I mentioned in the intro, finding that happy balance. How can we work together with other partners and apply the same information in our business? So that is the title of today's show, Confrontation in Business. And one of the main aspects I see, which is a common thread with a lot of people who are suffering from not being able to deal with confrontation in business, are people who what we call people pleasers. Now, This concept rings very true to my heart because for me, many years ago, I was a people pleaser. And there are days when I catch myself still trying to please others when in fact there's something more going on where I had to learn how to express myself and to stand up for myself. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of genuine stories about this today. And hopefully I can really get you guys to grasp the concept on how to get around this. And if you don't feel that, you've really got what it takes to really stop being a people pleaser, then I want to make sure you guys contact me. So I just want to remind you again, email me at Tammeron@figureitoutlive.com or hit that email host button here on this homepage. All right. So I see this a lot, and I see it a lot with women. This seems to be an issue that women have in general. As a woman myself, I can vouch for this one because, we tend to put everybody else's needs in front of ours. So as an entrepreneur, you got to learn, is this what I'm actually doing, or am I really authentically speaking up for what I honestly need in my business as well? So it can be very tricky to find that balance. So I'm going to be talking a lot about this. All right. So I just want to remind you guys as well, if you do feel that I can offer some help for you, again, if you've been listening to the radio show, I will offer a 10% discount to anybody who contacts me, and we can apply that to either my Who Am I workshop, which deals very specifically with this issue, or to a consultation as well, or any of my business courses, which are on my website, which I want you guys to check out, tammeronsplace.com. So lots going on. So I just want to review with you what is a people pleaser, and how is this going to affect us in our business? Well, to be honest, as a registered Bach flower therapist, educator as well, I tend to attract people based on a lot of the knowledge that I hold myself. And this is really what I talk about in my business workshops, is that who you genuinely are. When we look at all aspects of your life, you're really meant to work with people that want that same knowledge that you already have, so that you can pass down that knowledge. Especially if you're calling yourself an expert, if you're an entrepreneur, someone that wants to teach, you want to do workshops, you might want to do events, you might want to do speaking, you might actually want to write a book as well. So these are the type of things that I'm working on as well. So guess what? I tend to attract people who are struggling with the same thing. Now, what I did is I based a lot of my workshops on how I work with people, because a lot of people come to me when they have a problem. People feel very safe talking to me about issues that have come up in your life. And again, some of the first things that I start asking people is like, what's really going on? Like, what are you dealing with? What are you dealing with emotionally? Because in my line of work, that's what I'm drawn to learning. And so that's what I'm going to apply when I'm working with people. So there are so many different types of coaches, entrepreneurs. And so basically I attract people who literally, are having a lot of emotional issues. Okay. So I love to always talk with my clients about what's really going on emotionally. And I share the deep knowledge that I have about Bach flowers. I've talked a lot about this in other radio shows as well, and it tends to come up. But right now, there is a lot going on. If you're following me on Facebook, on my personal page under Tammeron Karam, again, you can find these links right here on my radio homepage. There's a lot of people who are they're having accidents. Literally, their partners are just walking out. Business relationships are just falling apart. It's not a negative thing. Really, what's happening is that people are literally being shifted around very fast right now. So if you're not in something that's serving you, so in other words, if it's not the best for you right now, then something is going to change. And so literally you're going to be tested and you're going to be moved into something that is of a higher, or something that's really going to bring out your brilliance, especially in your business. So these are not negative things that are happening. I'm going to stress that right now. It's something very, very positive. So again, if you feel lost, if you feel shattered, if you feel like things are just falling apart so fast right now and you honestly don't know what to do, then I want to make sure you contact me. And I want to make sure you really listen to what I have to say to you guys on the show today, because there's a lot of this going on, a lot. And I'm getting a lot of private emails, a lot of messages, all right? So this is really, I wanted to share this with you guys today. So I'm going to talk about something that may seem very strange, but it's a simple concept if you can grasp it. I'm only going to read about 2 paragraphs of a book. And this was a book that I did a lot of work with under Bach Flower Remedies. Bach Flower Remedies were derived from a man by the name of Edward Bach in the 1930s. And he was in Europe. He was in England. And what was happening, he was studying to become a clinical doctor. He didn't like how people were treated based on the symptom and not the personality about what was actually going on with them emotionally. So what he decided to do was to find ways to really help people to deal with their emotions so that they could work through their problems and so to live a better lifestyle. And this is what he chose to do. I honestly believe this man was highly, highly intuitive. If you read any of his textbooks or literature, it's just mind-blowing. He was definitely very connected to nature, and so what he found was that a lot of the personalities of trees and flowers and plants were very similar to people. And he created 38 different, what he calls Bach Flower Remedies, or what are now called Bach Flower Remedies, that literally match the personalities of people. So there's 38 different emotions we could be dealing with, and basically he believes that this is, there could be nothing more that the human could be dealing with. And so he's got 12 of them that are very specific. And basically he's imagining, what I'm going to read to you is about 12 of these personalities in a circle, and he's imagining them as a circle of stones, and he's calling this the architecture of the 12 healers. So I'm just going to read this to you. So just keep in mind that the healers that he's specifically talking about are actually the names of flowers that have a vibrational energy around them, because this is crucial for people right now. So if you can imagine a circle of stones with 12 monoliths marking the 12 points of the perimeter where the numbers stand on a clock face. And in the middle of the circle there was an open space. And into this space visualize the outpouring of light from a center that is beyond this world in a different dimension. And from that bright light of the center, shadows extend, lengthening behind the stones out into the darkness. And one side of each stone is illuminated by the light, and it is thrown into relief by the shadow and half-light, and the unseen form which is turned facing away into the dark. So these 12 stand like the 12 soul lessons of the 12 healers. And each of us, said Bach, is born with the purpose of learning one of these great life lessons. And the negative aspect of each remedy state is seen in the shadow, in the darkness and isolation from which we encounter when we turn away from the light. Wherever we stand on the circumference of the circle, we can look outwards into the darkness and see fear or pain, indifference, grief, or doubt according to the soul lesson that we are here to learn. And when we turn around and face the light, we meet the positive soul force of that lesson, which is courage, peace, tolerance, or understanding. And Edward Bach lists these qualities in a table. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to go to my first commercial break, and when I get back, I'm going to explain to you why I talked about this and how this really can affect you in your business and how I can help you turn things around very, very quickly, all right, if you feel that you are a people pleaser. So stay tuned. This is Tammeron, and you are listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Have you ever noticed that sometimes life just feels easier, especially when judgment of you or anyone else ceases to exist? What if you could function from that space all the time? What if gratitude is the key? Every time you are grateful for someone or something, a new universe opens up. What difference can you create in your life and the world from the energy, space, and consciousness of gratitude? Join us on Access Consciousness Presents Beyond Saying Thank You every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So just want to remind you, want to call in, ask me some questions. The number is 1-888-346-9141. Today we're talking about what is it like if you're a people pleaser and you're still like that in your business. So how am I going to help you turn that around? I'm going to share some personal stories today. So just want to remind you again, we're always looking for entrepreneurs for live coaching here on this show. So please contact me. I'll give you all the details if you're struggling, or if you just, you know you're in that right industry, but the clients just aren't showing up. It just could be a little tweak of something, all right? Because I don't believe we're meant to always see everything in ourselves. That's why we need to look to others for advice and help and support, because sometimes it's just something very minor that somebody sees in you that you can't see yourself. And sometimes it's that brightness, it's that light, it's that knowledge, or something that just seems so natural to yourself that you don't see it as a gift. All right, so that's exactly why I've hired many business coaches myself, and so I love to help others. So before I go on talking about this people-pleasing stuff and how to turn it around so we can make some money, is I pulled a card for the show today. A lot of people say they love the cards that I pull because it feels like it rings true to them. So this is what I pulled from T. Harv Eker's deck. It says here, develop an empowering motivation for success. And he says, if your motivation for acquiring money or success comes from a non-supportive root such as fear, anger, or the need to prove yourself, your money will never bring you happiness. Practice coming from purpose and joy, which is, one of the reasons why I love doing the radio show here on Voice America. Okay, to pass down that knowledge. All right, so I'm talking about a little bit, I'm just about done explaining this, but I'm talking about a man by the name of Edward Bach who created these remedies. Now, I'm not on here to talk about remedies, but it's faster to sell them. But what I'm saying is that when you understand this stuff, when you understand your personality, things about your personality, your strength and your weakness, weakness, you can see how you can shift some of this knowledge and use it in your business, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So today I'm talking about a very specific remedy first. I'm going to talk about a couple of ones later because they really go hand in hand, and it's very interesting how it's a part of our personality. But what I'm going to talk about right now is the remedy called Sanctuary. Now, people that feel they need Sanctuary generally have a weakness. And in other words, they don't see their own strength. They don't see their own gifts. They don't see their own light because they're so busy giving to others and running themselves ragged and dry that they don't allow their own needs to come first. Like I say, this is very, very common with women. I've gone through ups and downs of this in my own personal life, where especially even as a mom, when my kids are young, a lot of women, like we're trying to do it all. And, we're trying to create beautiful homes for our children where they're happy and everybody's getting everything we need. And at the end of the day, you've got no exhaustion, or you've got no time, you've got no energy to do anything for yourself. So it's very hard to put yourself first when everybody needs you. And so how do we find that balance? Well, as an entrepreneur, what I'm finding with women, and especially with myself, is to learn how to find that balance in business where, we come in, we work our 40 hours a week, and then we go home and we're running after the kids and we're all over the place and we're not making time out for ourselves. So this is what I've been sharing with my business partner as well. I've launched a new business this past week. It's a part-time business, is something very small. Again, it's all about healthy food and helping people to eat better, even if you're an entrepreneur and you're wanting somewhere great to eat. But in our business plan and in talking together, we come up with all these great ideas because both her and I are visionaries. My partner is another mom, and we can think of a million and one things to do, but when we turn around and we look at the bottom line, like, where are we going to make money in this? We have to decide, okay, are we going to do this because this is what we're passionate about, or are we in business to make money? And so, we've had some great conversations about, how are we going to make this successful? How can we make it work for us? How can we provide excellent value? How can we provide excellent food and create that wow factor so that people want to come back, tell their friends, support us, so on and so forth, and yet still create it in a way that it's going to make money? Because in the food industry and in the health food industry specifically, there's a very low margin in there. So it's forcing us to be creative. It's forcing us to set boundaries, and it's forcing us to really talk about it. And I'm really honored to say that I've attracted someone like that in my life who actually listens to what I have to say, listens to my past mistakes that I made, and says, you know what, if I want this to be successful, I'm not going to make those same mistakes again. So, how can we find other ways to to create what we want? And I'm actually feel honored that she listens to what I have to say. And it's like, I say to her, we can get what we want, we just have to think differently. And this is how the remedies come into play. So I'm going to go back to this. So with the remedies, when we're talking about the descriptions of the personalities, when you can take your weakness and turn it into a strength, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So let's take the example of me as a woman and running my business and working 7 days a week, pardon me, for 4 years, 10, 12-hour days, and deciding to do it all over again. Well, I turned around and I said, I'm not going to open the same business 7 days a week. I'm only going to open it 2 days a week on the busiest days, and I'm only going to open it during the tourist season, so our busy season here in Southern Ontario. So it will probably run till the end of October. Now, during that time, what I can do is take that opportunity where I'm still offering the food and stuff, but no longer try to fix everybody. No longer try to give everybody all the free advice when they're coming in. So this passion for wanting to feed people, for wanting to help people can still be there, but in a healthy way. So we've created things that we can do to offer people so that if these people are still wanting all this advice and stuff, to say, hey, you can contact us through the week. You can set up the times to join us, whether it's in a workshop or a private event, or we can bring in other teachers who want to help. This is keeping the healthy balance, because in that I can bring in other people who can speak, I can bring in other teachers, I can charge for that space, I can do things in a way where it's a win-win situation for everybody, and it's building a community of people where we can all work together to help each other out. I might own the building and have the space, but that doesn't mean I have to be here all the time working in it. And this was the biggest lesson that I had to learn, was that I can create the concept and just find the people to show up so they can actually fill the gap that I need. And so if you're someone who's always trying to do it all, this was a huge, huge lesson for me. And I'm finally glad that it's all come to fruition, and, things are reopening in a very different way. And so for me, it was very, very empowering to see how I have all this knowledge within me, and I can find a healthier way to share that knowledge, because I honestly believe that no matter what it is that you're doing in your business, you're here to pass down knowledge of things that you've already learned. And how are you going to make it unique? How are you going to make it special, so that what it is that you're offering is showing up for the people that would enjoy having you to be the one teach it. Again, this could be for people who want to be speakers, writers, people who want to do workshops and events, because those are the types of entrepreneurs that I seem to catch up with and I seem to meet. So it's a very, very powerful way to do that. And by owning this building here, I can turn it around and I can offer that same platform for other people who would still love to have or want to share their knowledge in the same format as myself. So it's very, very exciting. So this is one of the things that I really had to learn. And with a remedy like Century, it's really, really powerful, because I see a lot of women who are entrepreneurs, and this is the biggest struggle. So I'm just going to review something in another book about the Bach Flower remedies, but this might really zone in on some of the qualities that someone has who really needs to use this remedy, or to understand it and to see that part of themselves that needs to be turned around. It says here, qualities are a recognition of one's own identity, self-determination, self-actualization, appreciation of one's own willpower, self-respect, the ability to remain true to oneself in a group, and the ability to say no. That is a big one. You gotta learn how to say no. You gotta learn to say it when you really mean it. And it doesn't have to be in a nasty way. You know what? You just gotta say, I can't, I don't have time. That's really not what I want to do, but maybe I could do this. It's to find and really let your true gifts come out, because we all have them. So this is indicated for persons so highly sensitive that they can perceive what those around them are feeling and thinking. Their solar plexus is wide open so that the outer world pulls them in all directions, causing them to lose their willpower. Their eagerness to serve can amount to a kind of slavery and will relinquish their own lives to the office or to their family or career. They push themselves past their physical limits to better serve others, but their real goal is to receive recognition and acceptance, for they wish at all costs to be good. Century people register the needs of others without acknowledging their own, giving of themselves unstingly in order to satisfy their peers. And as they have never learned to say no on any request, no matter the hardship it entails, is readily granted. They are so anxious not to cause disputes or to stir up controversy that their availability and servitude create a false persona. All right. So very, very powerful to understand this. And yes, you can change it around, because I am a great example of that. All right. So it's time for my second break. And when we get back, I'm going to share a little bit more information. So just to remind you, this is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet?
Why not?
Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here. So, again, just want to remind you guys, if you're interested in private one-on-one consultation calls with me or even my workshops, again, if you let me know that you've listened to this radio show, 10% off. And that's quite the savings on any of my business programs. So specifically, what we talk about in my Who Am I workshop is one of the components we're talking about today, people that really don't know how to say no to people in business. I tend to attract a lot of people who have that problem. So I've been there myself, like I say, but once you get the hang of doing it. So yes, you'll get 10% off that, and that's a value of over $110 because the workshop is $1,147 privately one-on-one with me. And we can access Skype and do that anywhere you live, or we'll do it here in Bellefontaine, Ontario. It's a beautiful time of year to come out here too. The hiking right now is spectacular, so that's what I'll be doing this weekend. So again, in having this as sort of part of your personality, where you really, wanting to say no, wanting to speak up for yourself, and to find that balance for people. If this is something you struggle with in your personal life, I guarantee it's going to show up in your business. Who you are at home and the way you deal with people in your business, I honestly believe it's the same. So, you got to look at yourself a little bit. Sometimes we see things that we're not proud of, that we need to change, but that's where the growth occurs. And if you're capable of seeing these things within yourself, yourself, you can really move forward in your business. This is a big one. So yes, I just love it. And again, if you do want to follow me on my business page on Facebook, it's under Tammeron's Place, Twitter as well. And so, yes, you see more of my personal stuff and the things that people are going through on my personal page. So please check it out. So I'm going to get back to the information right now because I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So what I tend to notice is that there are other things that people are dealing with if you're someone who is a people pleaser like me. Because again, I attract the mirror of me, right? So what are some of the other things that I've had to deal with? Well, for many years, I didn't understand this concept where someone once said to me, so if you feel that you can, that me, speaking about me, if I feel I can change a situation or I can change somebody else, which is very common for women, you know, we want to change the men, that my life would be better, that I'd be happier. And so when a counselor asked me that, I said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. And they said, well, that's what you need to let go of. And I said, well, why is that? And they said, because that's what's causing your misery, your unhappiness. And basically what they were trying to tell me at the time, which of course it was so new to me to understand this or to hear it that it was hard for me to understand. But what they were saying was that if I could let go of the need to control the situation or the people, that I'd be happier. So it is a lot about acceptance, which is kind of a little bit what they were talking about with that Century Remedy bit, is that learning how to accept yourself, because it's really you need to find, you need to see your own light, your own beauty, and your own intelligence, you know, your worth and all that kind of stuff. So when I was asked this question, I found it very fascinating because I was so angry at the time of a lot of things that were going on in my life. And so now in business, I tend to see a lot of people who are trying to control a situation, who are trying to control other people so that they can make money. And it's very, very unhealthy as far as I'm concerned, because I've been there. So when you can let go of that factor, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more love in your relationships. And in other words, you know, really accepting other people for who they are, and so that you can work together without this judgment and without this need to fix something. It's all about, you know, just accepting things the way they are and seeing that light and that, you know, the beauty in others. Because when you can do that, instead of thinking of things that need to be changed, you're going to be a lot happier. And when I really, really realized this myself, I was able to let go of a lot of stuff. So as an entrepreneur, again, if you're working with people, if you have partners that you want to work with, or even people you've hired that maybe, you know, you've hired these people to, let's say, for example, you know, build your website. That's a good one. You know, you've got to be able to look at the strengths in people so that you can balance each other out. Now, this is what I want you to look out for. If you're working with someone who basically has the same strengths and weaknesses of you, it's going to be tough. You need someone to really balance you out. And that's where it's healthy to have the extreme opposites. All right. So don't be working with people where you have all the same gifts and talents, because you know what? When it's time to get the other things done that you guys don't have that strength in, you know, you're going to be lost. It's a partnership. It's, you know, where you got to work together. So you want to look for that. You want to look for people that have the wow factor that you don't have, because that's your weakness, and let that be somebody else's strength. Okay, so it's so important to see this, all right, because it's going to push you. It's going to challenge you, and you're going to have to stand up for yourself. So this is why this Century Remedy, like I'm talking about earlier in the show, will play out. It will show up, and it's going to show up in your business. But it can be done in a very, very healthy way. So it's very cool when we get there and when we can understand that. So I'm going to read the last one as well, which I want to talk about this other remedy called Rock Rose. And it's where people literally, like, they feel this sense of terror, and they just don't know what to do. And it's beyond fear. It's literally like, oh my God, I have to do something. There's a lot of that going on right now. Just like I said, a lot of people, like, they're losing their jobs. Companies are shutting down, and I say to people, it's not a negative thing. It's like you're being forced to find your greatness. And so if you're someone who's lost your job, you just need to, you really look at what it is that you're really good at and how you want to serve others if you want to become an entrepreneur, or even subcontract your services to a company, which is becoming more and more common these days. All right. So a lot of people can't get out of that terror mode, and they are just scared. So I'm going to read a little bit of information about that too, just very quickly, just a paragraph again of description of some of the qualities that are showing up for people. So again, for if you're feeling this sense of terror, this is really what you're meant to find, and you can find these gifts within yourself as an entrepreneur. Transcendence of one's own small world, courage in confrontation with life's extreme challenges, harmony, integration, connection with the energies of nature, perseverance in bravery, and dissolution of the sensations of terror and panic, freedom to move through paralyzing situations, tranquility, and inner peace. Okay, so this, if this is showing up for you, this is for those who, when faced with difficulties, perceive that they are not integrated, that the soul is unable to synchronize the spirit with the body. The spirit is seen as detached from the physical being, and the individual's panics, and they are unable to listen to the advice of others, so they can no longer see or manage to speak, but they remain paralyzed with no visible way out of their predicament. Children who respond to this remedy are incapable of coping with crisis. If they are present, for instance, when one another child suffers a seizure or something, they will be literally unable to move and remain rooted to the spot without calling for help. They may contract a sudden severe stomach ache and vomit, remaining immobile and dazed for hours afterwards. So this remedy is indicated for people who easily fall prey to fears induced by outward agents, or for children panicked by TV coverage of floods, for example, or for students who freeze during oral exams and go dumb or seized by panic during class essays and cannot write a word. All right? This is also the remedy of choice for persons suffering from specific and extreme trauma, a natural catastrophe such as a flood or an earthquake or an accident or news of an illness of a loved one. It's useful for those having trouble returning to the body after general anesthesia, for people in a coma, and for individuals who remain disoriented following surgery. Okay, so there's lots of different aspects of this. They're just giving you some examples, because this is beyond just a fear of something. This is like a terror, like, oh my God, you got that feeling like, what do I do? Okay, just what do I do? And people just, they don't know where to go. So, when you're at that situation in your business, sometimes it's hard to get out of, because when you just don't know where to turn, it's very hard to sit still because you feel like you need to do something. And the truth is, when something like that happens, that really is what I believe you need to do, is to sit still and try and breathe and to listen. Because when you're in a crisis and something's happening, that's when you're going to find your greatness. When you listen to, to your intuition, and whatever it is your intuition is guiding you to do next is exactly what you need to hear. And the reality is, in my life, when I've gone through all different types of things, situations, it's been in those moments of thinking, what do I do next? Where do I go? That I've heard my intuition telling me to do something, and it was something that I never would have expected, like not expected at all. And I didn't even understand why I was, getting these ideas. And yet when I followed it, amazing things happen, just absolutely amazing things. So it's very scary, because we're not used to living through our intuition. And when we do that, you're just going to have leaps and bounds. And so a lot of people say to me, well, I just don't know how to do that. And I say, you have to learn how to meditate. Now, I'm not talking about joining an ashram or running off to India or doing whatever it is to learn how to meditate. There are so many simple ways to meditate. I did a whole show just on learning a very simple meditation technique. So find somebody, find, a guided meditation, join something, start asking people. Because if you can start sitting still for at least 10, 20 minutes a day just to start, where you can really hear your intuition, you're going to see your brilliance come out. So this is how I start my day. I'm somebody who tends to sit very quietly during the morning. Even when it's having my cup of coffee, I've trained myself to do this, okay? So it's a practice that we need to really incorporate as part of your schedule, even as an entrepreneur, as part of your business, all right? So it's already that time for my last commercial break. I'm going to take it now. When I get back, I'm going to give you guys some more tips, all right? So this is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
When you make decisions, do you ever find yourself in doubt? Are you trying to figure out what's right with you? Are you ready to truly change your life? Listen for the Access Consciousness radio show with the founders of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Here. Consciousness is all about including everything and judging nothing. Our program will help you break free from your personal limitations and enhance positive change in all areas of your life. Tune in to Access Consciousness, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Voice America Empowerment.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and you are listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So today's show is called Confrontation in Business. So how do you deal with this? Like, how do we, talk to people if, we need to say something and yet you want to say something, but you don't know how? Again, these are people who are people pleasers, and very common with me. I've been through ups and downs of this in my own life too. So, how do you speak up for yourself? How do you say what you need to say so you don't turn into a doormat? All right. very common for women in business. I see it in men too, but I do see it. I do see it with women a lot. And so when a lot of women come to me for advice in their business, this is really common. So this is one of the aspects I talk about in my workshop called "Who Am I?" So if I'm talking about things today that really resonate with you, I encourage you, give me a shout. I'll offer 10% off if you've listened to this radio show, and we'll give you the discount. Again, I work with people online as well via Skype, so you don't have to see me in person to really get through some of these issues. So I'm going to go back. Someone has messaged me and said they wanted me to talk a little bit more about the need to control because that was ringing true to them a little bit. Okay, so that whole desire to get things to work with someone effectively where, you know, they don't understand how to let go. Like, how do you get what you need by letting go? It sounds confusing. So basically, it's about just allowing someone to be who they are without wanting to change them. I'll sort of recap that. So I've pulled some information from the same book that I was referring to earlier, and this will just explain, you know, the personality of this person suffering from who needs this remedy called chicory. Again, these were designed by a man by Edward Bach in England. So the qualities of a person who might use this remedy, or even just the need to understand it more, is somebody who needs to learn unconditional love. So unconditional loves mean loving someone for who they are and not for who you need them to be. Okay, that's when we can let go. It's about acceptance. So again, giving without expectation of recompense, self-nourishment without dependence, archetypal motherhood. Again, this is huge for women. They have a lot of devotion. They have a lot of warmth. They offer a lot of protection and security to others. They need to show respect for others' freedom. And it says here, this is indicated for those who suffer from a profound inner dissatisfaction because they do not feel truly loved and accepted by the world. They suffer from an inner sense of insecurity linked to the fear of losing someone or something. They may become extremely protective of their children, meddling in family affairs and trying to intervene in decisions and organize, guide, advise, and decide, even in those situations that don't concern them. This possessive attitude on the part of the personality manifests itself in forms of emotional bribery, such as loving in order to get something back, maintaining a friendship for reasons of personal egotism, and doing something for someone else in order to receive something. Chicory people live in a world of ifs. I'll love you if. I'll give you a kiss if. I'll give you some money if. All right? I've loved you all my life in exchange for blah, blah, blah. So insecurity is joined to possessiveness, a tendency to oppress and dominate, and a sort of greediness and a desire for recompense due. And as children, they believe that everything belongs to them. Outrageously possessive, they live in a continual process of extortion and bribery. I'll do this if. They are overattached to their mothers and frequently jealous. Chicory children, particularly girls, may suffocate their dolls with cuddles and caresses, excessive attention, and tenderness, the prelude to a stifling kind of love. All right? Very, very common. And you know what? I've had my share of this one too. Again, when I learned how to just allow people to say what they need to say, give them the room to say it, and just say, okay, you know. Again, because we want the world women, we're nurturers in general. Okay, we're very loving, we're very, protective. We want to nurture, we want to feed. So if you're in the self-development industry and you're wanting to serve others, you can really get caught up in this. And so you need to learn the boundaries. You need to listen. So in other words, instead of telling people how to live, you can share what it is you have to share. And if people say no, they say no. Then it's okay. But don't get mad at them because they say no. I'll give people their way of finding what they need to find in their life. And if they're ready and they're willing to listen to what you have to say, then offer it, but don't force it. Okay? And I learned this especially as a mother. when your kids are little, it was so easy for me to make choices for my children because I wanted them to eat healthy and make sure they exercised and got outside and, had that healthy balance. But as they grew up and they got older, and now my two boys are turning in, well, they're young men now, they have to make their own decisions. And it's very, very hard to watch someone who has a different way of thinking and doing things that's very different from the way you raised them. And so as much as we want them to live in a certain way, I have to allow them to find it for themselves and to be here and to catch them if they fall or if they're falling. And so that's where I had to learn how to let go and just allow them and love them for who they are without having to change them. Do I get caught in this? Absolutely. Sometimes I catch myself doing things and realize I'm actually trying to control. And it's a form of love, but it's a very controlling form of love. So it is very difficult, but you just got to let go. So in your business, if you're really trying to control your partners or you're trying to control your clients or other people, it can be very unhealthy. So when we can learn how to let go a little bit, we can create healthier relationships and deeper friendships and more respectful friendships in our business as well. So I'm finding that out as I'm doing things and launching a new business, which is takeout, a little organic bar here in Bellefontaine. So again, it's all kinds of healthy food that we're offering called Tonic. Okay, so it's already that time again. Time always goes by so fast when I don't have anybody here with me. So, yes, just want to thank you for taking this time out of your day to spend it with me. I hope you've resonated in some way or you feel compelled to listen again to the recorded version or share this show with your friends. Always remember that my life is the same as yours and I'm not perfect, but I just love to share my stories of challenges. And I genuinely want us all to become successful so we can live happier and more fulfilling lifestyles. It requires courage, communication, and most of all, some fun. And no matter what we need or feel we need, I believe it can be accomplished in a comfortable, relaxing, and a safe place, just like right here. So remember, come back next week for another great show with me, Tammeron, on Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So cheers for now.
Thank you again for listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. Please join Tammeron again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Let's figure it out intimately. Again.